pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, with that being said, for the opening invocation, we have Pastor Bratton from Greater Faith Grace Bible Church. That's here in the city of Rialto. All right, Pastor Bratton, are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you for joining us this evening. Yes, we can hear you. Thank you for joining us this evening.
My pleasure. Eternal God, our Father, I pray tonight for the board district meeting tonight. I pray, God, you give them wisdom, guidance, and support as they maneuver and go through all the tough decisions they have to make each night. Father, I pray their hearts, minds blend together for one purpose, one cause. That is, God, provide the best service possible to all the people who need the water in this district, Father. So I thank you for their unity, ability to serve our community. Again, God, I pray you bless the needs and fill the hearts with your power and your spirit. With the wisdom, I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Okay, now next up, Secretary Ashe, roll call the board members.
Director Dr. Michael Taylor.
Present.
Director Greg Young.
Here.
Director Dr. Clifford Young.
Here.
Vice President Kyle Crowther.
Here.
And President Channing Hawkins.
Here. Okay, next up is the adoption of the agenda.
Mr. President, I'll move the adoption of the agenda. I second.
Okay, great. The Secretary Ashe, call for the vote.
Director Dr. Michael Taylor.
Yes.
Director Greg Young.
Yes.
Director Dr. Clifford Young.
Yes.
Vice President Kyle Crowther.
Yes.
President Channing Hawkins.
Yes. With that being said, okay, next up is the public participation.
Under the State of California Brown Act, the Board of Directors is prohibited from discussing or taking action on any item not listed on the posted agenda. Comments related to notice public hearings and business matters will be heard during the occurrence of the item. In an effort to prevent the spread of COVID-19 and in accordance with the Governor's executive order and the order of the County of San Bernardino dated March 17, 2020, there will be no public location for attending this committee meeting in person. Members of the public may listen and provide public comment via telephone by calling the following number and access code 888-475-4499, and the access code is 807-977-6383, or you may join the meeting using Zoom. The public comment may also be submitted via email to our administration at wvwd.org.
Okay, great. Mr. Karuka?
Yes, hi, good evening, board members. We do have a number of individuals on Zoom this evening. However, no one has expressed any desire to provide a public comment. However, I would like to go ahead, if I could, just ask one more time. If anyone would like to make a public comment, please go ahead and unmute your phone or virtually raise your hand.
Going once, going twice, going 3 times.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have the presentation of the Special District Leadership Foundation, our commitment to excellence.
And board members, please listen up because we have homework to do.
Oh, public hearing? I thought that was item number.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, apologize, my mistake. We're having a public hearing. Next up, I apologize, I made a mistake. Please excuse me. The procedure for public hearing, adoption of the 2020 Water Facilities Master Plan. This evening, that is not Clarence Menzel, that is our CFO Ricky Mambahal, who is standing in for him this evening. Now, the President, they gave me a nice handy script here. This is the time and place to set for a duly noticed public hearing regarding the adoption of 2020 Water Facilities Master Plan, which includes a 5-year capital improvement program for the West Valley Water District. I'd like to welcome everyone and declare this public hearing open. Ms. Ashe, has the notice of the hearing been given as required by law?
Yes. Notice of this hearing has been posted at the district headquarters and on the district's website, as well as been published in the Fontana Herald News and West Side Story News of the Empire newspaper in accordance with the California law.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Mambahal, would you describe the events leading up to this hearing and the purpose of this hearing?
Yes, sir. A draft 2020 Water Facilities Master Plan has been prepared to determine the future water demands and supply requirements for West Valley Water District. The plan identifies the water facilities needed to produce, deliver, store, and transport the supply to our customers. Within the draft 2020 Water Facilities Master Plan is a 5-year capital improvement program. The program identifies the infrastructures needed to be constructed within the next 5 years to continue to provide reliable service to our existing and projected new customers. A copy of the draft 2020 Water Facilities Master Plan has been provided to the planning agencies of each affected city and county within the district's jurisdiction for review and comment. This hearing is required by state law in order to receive input from interested parties. And I'll ask Ms. Jadesky to please present the 2020 Facilities Master Plan.
Thank you, Mr. Mambahal. This evening we have with us via Zoom is Mr. Tony Acal from Acal Engineering. They are the firm that provided the services for the Water Facilities Master Plan, and he will be giving a brief presentation.
Can we make sure the microphone is on? Folks on Facebook are having a hard time hearing. We're good.
The host will be informed that you would like to speak.
Am I next?
Yes, Mr. Acal?
Yes. Thank you, Linda. So we're live. President Hawkins, board members, audience. It's my pleasure to be here tonight to present to you the 2020 Water Facilities Master Plan. This has been a rewarding and journey to update the master plan. We're going to walk you through today with very briefly, with methodology and findings. Next slide, please. Before I proceed, I want to mention also that my assistant Kevin Talbot is here also today in case there are detailed questions. We are here to answer any questions that you have. Some background: this water master plan is not new. You had the 2012 water master plan that was prepared by a very capable Linda. Linda put a lot of effort in that. And I told her at the beginning, I was amazed at the level of detail. I don't see that prepared in-house by someone to that caliber. And that 2012 master plan served as a foundation for this update. So this is just update, a normal update process. What changes over the years? Lots of things. Growth changes, the criteria changes. Water conservation can have an impact. So this is a natural update to the process of master plans. The objectives, like always, is to quantify and prioritize system capacity improvements for existing users as well as future. So essentially, what do we need to construct?
when do we need to construct it, how much does it cost, and most importantly, who pays for it. So the master plan has to be, and most of all, it has to be a defensible guiding document that will going to last us for the next 5 years at least. And it has to be Assembly Bill AB 1600. In case you don't know, this is the bill that establishes a nexus between improvements and developments. If existing users are responsible, then the dollar amount should state that. If it's future growth that is responsible for the improvements, then the associated cost should be tied to the future growth. Next slide, please. The methodology is very standard in master planning processes. The first task is to confirm land use assumptions, because in master planning in the water world, water is always linked to land. And to that effect, we wanted to make sure that the land uses are accurate. The next step was calculating demand. How much demand do we need now? How much demand do we need in 5 years? How much demand do we need in 20 or 25 years? And then the district and under Linda's guidance, we proceeded to develop a state-of-the-art hydraulic model. That's a tool, that's a computer tool that is used for calculating the capacity issues, capacity deficiencies, and making recommendations. But before we can use it, we wanted to make sure it was predicting correctly, so we calibrated that model. And that's what we use for evaluating the existing system, capacity-wise. And the next step was, if there are deficiencies, what improvements are needed to mitigate those deficiencies? And then finally, we recommended improvements to service growth for the next 5 years, and also for the next 25 years, looking way ahead. And finally, we also developed a capital improvement program, which means costs for these improvements. Next slide, please. And I will go quickly over these slides. Again, we worked on developing general plan. The exhibit on the left shows the existing land use. Again, the district services several agencies. And our job was also to update this land use for the future. So we developed a GIS-based land use that summarizes the land uses from the 6 agencies within the boundaries here, to make sure we are using the latest and greatest, that we are planning for the future based on the latest and greatest information that we have. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So in essence, this master plan supports, first of all, after looking at deficiencies, we want to make sure we support the imminent growth within the 5 years. So we have itemized the known developments over the next 5 years, the number of units. So this goes to a very deep level of detail in terms of what growth we are expecting. And we quantified them, and we evaluated the improvements that are needed to service these particular developments. Next slide, please. Next slide. And just to summarize, what we're looking at on the map on the left-hand side is a lot of lines. Those lines represent the pipelines, the water lines that service the district customers. The red lines are essentially 12 inches and above, and the blue lines are the smaller lines. There are 12 active groundwater wells. There are approximately 390 miles of pipelines, 24 storage facilities, 10 booster stations, and of course, the Oliver Romer water filtration facility. So this is the existing system. That's what we start with, and that's what we evaluate first. Next slide, please. And then we also looked, the next step was to look at finding improvements that are needed for the next 5 years. And if you look at this map, in this map, the color coding is changed a little bit, with the blue lines indicating the existing facilities that we have today, and the red lines and the red symbols are intended to indicate the improvements needed to service growth within the next 5 years. So the dots, as an example, on top could be a tank, it could be a booster station, it could be an expansion of the Romer plant, and the single lines are pipeline to reinforce the grid and service those developments. Next slide, please. And at the end of the day, there's a cost for all these improvements that were quantified for over the next 5 years. So the total cost for the CIP is $159 million. That services both existing and future users. How does the breakdown work? We quantified, we did a cost allocation that is based on the demands. That's the most defensible cost allocation that we use. We use that on every master plan because at the end of the day, we use those to develop rates and capacity fees. So we want to make sure that what you use is absolutely defensible. So the rates, so the cost allocations were divided accordingly. Existing users, based on this formula, are about 19% responsible of this $159 million. So they're roughly responsible for about 30 million. And 30 million means, does the system work today? Absolutely it does. But the 30 million are needed to elevate the level of service for the existing users. So better fire flow response in certain areas, better storage availability for in certain areas, better booster station availability in certain areas, better supplies. And then the next step is how much is the future, are the future users responsible? It would be the balance, about roughly $129 million, or 81% of the total that is identified, the $159 million. Excluding the treatment plant, the water plant, the water facilities, the number would be approximately $58 million. I think this is a typo. Essentially, we're deducting the $72 million that is identified and highlighted in the table for Oliver Romer, the plant. So if you remove that amount, it becomes about $57 million. And that concludes a very brief presentation of the plan. We are here to answer questions. I could easily go for the next 22 hours, but I know you've had a long day, and I kept it as brief as I could.
We may not make it to the Romer project presentation tonight, because I know the board members want to get out of here, and I know we had well, I do have a question. I'm new to this, so you gotta excuse me. So the majority of the cost in this master plan is, the cost of future rate case.
Yes, it's to support future development.
Future development. Okay, so what? Well, I guess I don't know. What are these developers paying? What is their portion on this that they're paying?
Well, this particular report is not for that. After we look at this, we will be doing a capacity charge study to see if our current developer fees are in line with the infrastructure that we need to construct.
We approved that in the budget. Remember?
Oh, yes, because that's a big deal, and they're making all the money, and it looks like our current ratepayers are stuck with paying for them to make a whole lot of money selling them out. But I probably don't know enough yet.
The amount for the existing users is for the capacity that our existing users would use. That part is not for new development.
No, I see the part that, I mean, it's not too much. It's Mr. Dow. It's just what I see, the math problem I see right here shows a significant gap into where we have to go in the next 5 years. And, who's going to make a considerable profit off of us building this infrastructure? And, I just want to make sure soon we have that capacity charge study. I'm very anxious to look at it because
I don't know how soon that will be. I mean, within the next year we'll have one. I mean, it takes a while to do that study, right, Linda?
Yes, and we wanted to make sure that we had finalized the master plan so that we can use that document for the study?
Oh, absolutely, and because I guess I was off the mic, I want to be very clear. I'm looking at this number, looking at these numbers, I'm looking at what our ratepayers are currently paying, I'm looking at what the potential cost of adding all these new users, and there appears to be a significant cost expenditure that this district will have to incur in order for this to come to fruition. And I'm very concerned about the developers and what they're paying, because they're the only ones that's gonna make a profit out of this whole equation. And so I wanna make my position on that very clear. You know, I see why we need to do this every 5 years. How long did we let this lag?
The last one was updated in 2012.
Right, so it's been 8 years. And so that's 3 years that we've been behind on where we need to, what we need to charge these developers for expanding and being a part of our system. Am I incorrect about that? So we're 3 years behind. Are we three? Well, no, we behind, because I can tell you, I live here in Rialto, I'm a ratepayer, and I can tell you, when I look at these numbers, I look at every minute that it takes that this hasn't been addressed is a minute too long, because the folks here in Rialto that are currently living here can barely pay their bill as is, and I see what could happen in this equation.
So some of the funds needed for existing customers is treatment for existing wells.
Fine.
And the 72 million for the Romer plant, and you will see in my presentation, is going to be a lower number.
Yes, but my point is that, you know, but if our fees to these developers aren't in line with what they should be to support any version of this plan, that's an issue. Because the hardworking folks in Bloomington, who I don't even know, when I've seen some of these plans, I don't know how much more they're building in Bloomington, but if anything happens with these rates, those hardworking folks down there are gonna be a part of this equation. Folks in South Rialto, the service areas in Fontana, Colton, and everything else, and I'm looking at this and I don't wanna get ahead of myself. But I do want it very clear that, you know, we need to address this issue. I can't wait for that study to occur. With all due haste, whatever you need to get that done, let me know. Because, yeah. Am I off? And who's gonna have to foot this bill? Yeah, okay.
I understand.
Okay.
Linda, we have a July 2020 date on here. When
She hasn't done that.
You haven't done that.
Huh?
You haven't done that.
No, I'm talking. When was this study here done?
We've been working on it for a while, actually. Yeah.
But does this study take into account the recession that we had?
No.
It did.
No, we've been working on this, for the better part of over a year and a half. I mean, like, this has been a long project.
Yes.
Which we've been working on in the committee.
Right.
We only recently, because there were some last minute corrections which I asked for, so now we're bringing the final
Right.
version to the board.
But, okay. I hear you about the committee.
It's a very long process.
Right,
So
it's a
that
very
was
long
well
process,
before
but I do
that.
want to
I'm in the
understand.
middle of
but-
asking a question.
Okay, because I want to understand, as long as the, hold on, as long as the, yes, we do. I'm sorry, Dr. Yeah, but when it comes to these kind of expenditures, I do get excited about it because I want to know what exactly we're doing.
Right.
Yes, you can.
So these studies didn't take into account the recession. They didn't take into account the virus that we had right now. None of that was taken into account.
Most of the work of the development of this occurred over the last
Because as I
year
talk-
before all that happened. We were just doing last minute tweakings over the last few months, but most of the bulk of this report was done probably 9 to 12 months ago. I mean, it's a very lengthy process to put this document together, and we've
So
been
this-
working on it for some
So this
time.
document is out of date once we see it.
Well, it's pretty much always out of date by the time we approve it. I mean, but it's the process.
It's a snapshot in time.
Yeah, it's a snapshot in time.
Right, but this kind of document is supposed to come before the board every 5 years.
We generally do it every 5 years, not required, but
Right, it's
yes.
not required, but I understand why every 5 years, because every year you wait, you know, the economy, the cost of living, the cost of supplies, the cost of development, the cost of labor, everything increases. So the later it takes, and the more you hesitate, the more expensive it becomes.
Well,
I don't know, I don't have a degree in economy, but I know a little bit. Let's see if am I somewhat,
You're on par.
okay.
Yeah, and I wouldn't disagree with what you're saying, Mr. President, and I, like you, have a lot of concerns about the needs and the cost, and that's, I think, one of the reasons why we've been pushing to do this rate study. But the process of putting this document together, I mean, it's probably all together, because we have to select a firm, go through the whole process. I mean, it's not like we were just sitting on our hands not wanting to do it for several years. I mean, it takes us about 2 years to put this together. I mean, that's how long from start to finish it takes us to put this kind of a document together. So and really my hat's off to Linda and her team. They've been working around the clock on this, and it's not for lack of us wanting to do it. We've been talking about this at the committee for years, doing all the steps to make sure that we got to today where we can start to do the public hearing so that we can move forward to adopt it. But it's not, I mean, it's a 5-year document. We try to keep up with it, but again, it's also a 2-year roughly time frame to put this together.
Well, let me be clear, Ms. Jadesky did her job.
Yeah.
The staff did their job. Let me be clear with that. The staff, the staff the staff did their job. Ms. Jadesky did their job. What I'm concerned about is a project, I'm new, I'm 6 months into this. Something of this magnitude that can lead to this kind of numbers, if there's anyone, let me be clear, I am on the board too, and I have to take the blame as well as every other board member, because this kind of thing can't be this late. Because this is a priority. This is not a small time thing.
But
even if it takes 2 years, that means in 2018, well, not even 2018, because it was 2012, so that meant in 2016, and that's 2017, this should have been moving down the pipeline, and that's where you get into the problem, because now we're behind in such a significant endeavor. And when I looked at our bond rating from this last budget cycle, I learned a whole lot. When I look at our assets and what we can do, this is a significant issue. This isn't a small time thing. And so what I will say, and going into this, is that as a board, we will be resetting some of our policies and expectations of staff, because one thing that I did come into this board and we didn't have in place, and I'm concerned why we didn't have a financial calendar of when things get done. Some of these projects, and we didn't have a business plan and a strategic plan. And when you operate without those things and requiring those, you end up in a situation where you look at a number like this, and all you have is, well, it takes a lot of time, well this, well that. Well, you know what? All the lag in time, people elect us to make sure it's done on time.
Well,
so, hold on, and I have to, right, and I gotta say what I gotta say, because somebody gotta say it, because there's a whole lot of people here in Rialto, Bloomington, Fontana, unincorporated, San Bernardino, and other places that won't have a say. They'll just have a bill. So no, I'm not okay with this. I'm not happy.
Our ratepayers have enjoyed no rate increases, none. And there's no anticipation, we're not anticipating raising those rates anytime in the future. So, no, I will not vote for it anytime in the future.
Right.
And the ratepayers that depend upon me will support that, not voting for any increases. So there have been some advantages over how the district has conducted its business. And we're conducting it under restraint that we were not going to raise our rates, and we have not.
But this is timeliness. This is efficiency. This isn't about raising rates. This is about timeliness. Because if you're inefficient and you're not timely, then you put yourself where all you're doing is kicking it down the road.
Well, then, Mr. President, then Linda, why don't we starting tomorrow to work on the next 5-year one? Because it takes us so long to get it going that if we have to have one to go in the moment the other one goes out, that's the only way, Mr. President, we're gonna do it. Because hold on, you got to speak on your high horse, it's my turn.
No, well, you
Hold on. Is it, can I speak, please? Can I speak, please? Because you've been speaking this whole time, demeaning the work of this committee. Kyle and I have been working on this project with this committee for going on 3 years now, sir. So don't act like we haven't been doing our job. And I find it absolutely insulting what you've been saying about that. We have been trying to get to this day for a long damn time.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So don't even try to spit on that, okay? Now, can we at least focus on this committee hearing and move forward? Because we got a lot of other stuff to talk about, but I just want to be clear. We've been doing a lot of work on this. Thank you, Linda. Thank you to everyone who's had an effort. Because it takes a long time to put something this comprehensive together, and that is nothing to spit at.
Yeah, but you know what? I hear you, and I appreciate the staff's work. I'm not knocking the staff, but we are the policy makers.
But you are.
We help to set, no, let me be clear with you one more time. For the people in the back, the staff can only do what they could with what they're empowered to do.
Can I ask a question,
But
Linda?
nope, you had your chance. You've had your chance to ask a lot of questions. You've had 3 years of this in the making.
Oh,
that's what you
okay.
said.
We're on that
That's
one,
what
huh?
you said. No, that's what you said. You said you.
Can I ask Linda a question right now?
Hold on. But this is what I do want to know.
Can I ask Linda a question right now?
You set policy and you set priorities. And so this board, our agency, this is something else. And now that I understand what's going on, we're going to have more detailed conversations, more routine updates, because we can't let this lag in the same way that it's been lagging. And that's just my opinion. And you know what? I get to have one of those, just like you get to have one of those.
Can I ask Linda a
But
question
I can tell
now?
you what, we're not going to lag like this towards these projects. It's just like,
Can I ask Linda a question
barely
now?
tonight, you've been in that committee.
Can I ask Linda a question?
You've been in your committee, and we barely getting a presentation on Homer.
And I just got one the other day, sir, so don't act like we're not doing anything.
That's your committee. Whatever you do.
Well, fine, you can do the committee if you think you can do a better job of it.
I know what.
Because you know what? We've been busting our butt in this committee.
Mr. President, I move the agenda. Let's get back on the agenda.
We are on the agenda. We're having a discussion. We are discussing
a hearing
this.
going on.
We are discussing the hearing.
I move that we close the hearing.
Well, you can move, well, we're still in
I
discussion.
move that we close the
And
hearing.
we're still in
I
discussion.
need a second.
And we're still in
Second that
discussion.
we
You can
close the
second it,
hearing.
Greg. Go ahead, just second.
Huh?
Go ahead.
You don't have that power.
I have the power to stay in
You
discussion.
don't have that power.
I have the power to stay in discussion.
No, you do not have it. You get a second. If I
Here
get a
you go.
second, you do
Here's
that.
the cheat sheet
I've
for you.
read that. I've written on
Here's
it.
the cheat sheet for
You
you.
know.
Can I
And I
ask
know
Linda a
what,
question, please?
I know what, I don't always
Can I
have a
please
whole
ask my
lot to say
question?
about everything, but I do have a whole lot to say about this. And I apologize if you feel that somehow besmirch your work, but I can tell you what, this is a very serious matter. This is a very serious matter, and people are expecting us to be timely and be efficient. That's why we need a level of focus in our organization and on this board on what we're doing with our strategic plan and our business plan, which we haven't had one for years, because we need to step up our game. And that's what I do have to say. I'm not going to belabor with everything that's happened in the past and who should have did what, but I can tell you this, we have to do better. I'm sorry, I'm sure the public wants to comment. I had to let mine out. Comment? Mr. Rookie, public comment?
No, we're not there yet.
Okay.
I had to go through the script, so.
Okay.
President Hawkins, staff is requesting that the Board of Directors receive and file the 2020 Water Facilities Master Plan and the 5-year CIP plan into the record of the public hearing.
Thank you. The board hereby receives the 2020 Water Facilities Master Plan, and receipt of the plan is hereby entered into the record of this public hearing. At this time, are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this matter? If so, please come forward to the podium, state your name, or Zoom, or conference call line. State your name and address for the record, and present your comments. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Yes.
Mr. Faruqi?
Good evening, board members.
Mr. President,
You've got to say.
this is just for the people in favor first, Mr. President.
Yes.
Okay, it doesn't designate that on my script.
This is in favor, the next one is for against.
Where is that?
Yes, it is on that script. I put it in.
Okay, can I go ahead and
Okay, let's
ask
do
if
it in
there's anyone?
favor.
Mr. President, as a matter of procedural matter, you'll ask for those in favor.
Just so you know, Mr. Mandelhall came and gave me the correct script. I did not have the correct script. Now, are there any, at this time, the public hearing, are there any members of the public who wish to speak in favor of the matter? If so, please state your name and address for the record and present your comments. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Are there any speakers in favor?
If you would like to speak in favor of the item, please go ahead and unmute yourself, or go ahead and raise your hand virtually. We'll give you a few seconds. Again, if there's anyone that would like to make a comment in favor, please go ahead and unmute yourselves or raise your hand virtually. There's no public comment, sir.
All right. Seeing no further speakers in favor of this item, are there any persons who wish to speak against this matter? Any? Yes.
If there's anyone that would like to go ahead and speak in opposition of this item, please go ahead and raise your hand virtually, or go ahead and unmute yourself. We'll give you a few seconds.
All right, hearing no speakers, there are no further speakers. I hereby declare the public hearing closed. Okay. I think. You think that, yeah, the public hearing is closed, that's it. That's all. All right. All right, now we get the vote. All right.
And you're only voting to receive and file.
All right, we're only voting to receive and file. Thank you, because now, Mr. Member, you can attest, I didn't have the correct script.
You didn't have the correct
I
script.
did not have the correct script.
He did not.
Jim?
Yes. Yes.
What do you want to do with the Romer update? Did you want to move that for time?
Yeah,
Let's finish this. Well, we have to finish.
well, we have to finish this, but Mike, I got you. We're okay. I got you.
Board has to vote.
I got you. We have to vote on this matter now.
Yes, public hearing is critical.
Public hearing is critical. So we're voting on this, and the vote is to receive and file. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
I so move.
Okay, all right. It's been moved, probably seconded. Secretary Ashe.
Director Dr.
I
Michael
didn't
Taylor.
understand. I'm sorry, I didn't understand it. You guys are wearing masks, so it's kind of muffled, and I don't get all of it.
Okay, we're only voting to receive and file the water master plan. And so there was a motion to adopt the water master plan, receive and file the master plan. It was properly seconded by one of the young. Secretary Ashe got one down.
Yes.
And now we are calling for the vote.
Director Dr. Michael Taylor.
Okay. I haven't got enough information on this yet. I'm going to go ahead and continue on this vote.
Mr. President, point of clarification. This motion is not to approve the master plan, but rather to receive and file it. Is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes, it's receive and file, not to approve.
Just receive and file.
Oh, okay, just receive and file and I'll vote.
I mean,
Okay.
there is a resolution on business items
Right.
related to it. Yeah, that's a separate.
That's a separate matter. Mhm.
Is the resolution separate?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
How you vote?
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry, what?
How you voting?
I voted to go ahead and receive it and file it. That's it.
Director Greg Young,
Yes.
Director Dr. Clifford Young,
Yes.
Vice President Kyle Prather,
Yes.
and President Channing Hawkins.
Yes. Okay, so that's been moved, properly seconded. What we're gonna do for tonight, going down to the presentation, it's getting late.
It's a fairly lengthy presentation, Channing. I've already been through it, so just so you know.
It's a different presentation.
It's a different one.
It's different than.
This is a different presentation.
This is a different presentation.
This is a presentation
This is the
that
one
we've
which
been
you all
asking
asked
for a while. Mr. President, I would suggest that we table this,
Well, yes.
presentation, because I do have a lot of questions
Mhm.
concerning Roma, and I don't want us to run here until midnight. So I would like to see this presentation done where we have the time, to concentrate and talk about it. It's a tremendous investment on part of the district, so I move that we table this. Do I need a second to that?
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to table this. I do want to acknowledge staff's very hard work on this project and the quick turnaround of getting this presentation together, because they did do an excellent job in putting this together in a very short time frame, and I want to acknowledge that. However, we are like to call for the vote, Secretary Asher.
Director Dr. Michael Taylor,
And Channing, I gotta add the presentation.
It's a presentation, we don't have to move and second it, we can just table it to the next meeting. We don't have to second it.
I get it, I get it. I just wanted to make a comment on my vote. Okay?
Oh, no, we actually don't need to vote on a presentation.
I'm just saying it's an extremely well done presentation,
Oh, yes.
very informative, and I am sure it will inspire a lot of questions. But I'll go ahead and vote to move it to another meeting.
Yes. But we don't have to vote to move it, and then the special district leadership foundation, I know it's hurting me on the inside if we don't do it tonight, but it seems like we're running tight. It's running tight, so we're gonna probably postpone that presentation too, to our next meeting, but it's a lot of homework for us to do. With that being said, we're gonna skip the presentation for tonight, bring them back on the 3rd. Is it the 3rd of August? When's the next meeting?
The 6th.
6th?
6th of August.
6th of August, yes.
6th of August.
Okay, all right.
On this, moving this presentation, is it possible, Linda, for me to sit down with you? I have some very detailed questions on that, so before we schedule it again, I would like to just sit down with you and go through it, because it's gonna take some time, okay?
It's a lot to take in.
It is a lot to take in, but, okay, let's see what we can get done between now and August 6th. So, if we got to go. Okay, all right, moving on to the consent calendar.
Mr. President, I would like to pull items 7 and 8 for separate discussion and questions.
You want to pull items number 7 and 8, okay. Dr. Taylor?
I'd like to, with the exception of items 7 and 8, I'd like to make the motion that we move forward the rest of the items on both the consent calendar and the business matters.
Is there a second?
I don't understand, you wanna vote on everything?
except for 7.
No,
Well,
except for 7 and 8.
well,
I
Mr.
have, Mr. President,
I'll second that.
12, I have a no vote on, so I would like to record that.
And,
Okay.
well, and
Hold
Mr.
on.
President,
Hold on.
I have a second.
He has a motion on the floor. He has a second, and then there's
I have a
discussion.
second.
There will be discussion. Okay, there's a motion on the floor. There's a motion on the floor to adopt.
Who seconded?
I'm just saying, it has
Aye.
to second it. I'm just clarifying what the motion is.
I'm just asking.
Okay, nobody seconded it yet.
Okay.
There's a motion on the
Yes,
floor.
Kyle seconded.
Yes, and I said, I'm good with it.
Okay, director. Everybody, okay, let's get through this vote, okay? All right, so.
Can I
the
ask
most
a
whole
question?
literally great. No, we're not, hold on, you can ask a question after I clarify what the motion is.
Okay.
The motion is to vote for items 1 through 12. With the exception of item number 7 and 8 that will be pulled. Those are the items, that is the motion on the floor. Is there a second for that motion?
Kyle, are you seconding it? You're still on mute.
Sorry about that, yes.
Okay, so yes, so there's a second. Any discussion?
Yes, I would like to ask legal, Robert, I really feel that
You can-
probably number 9 does need to be a separate vote because it is the vote on the resolution for the water master plan.
It doesn't need a separate vote.
Well, I would like legal's opinion on it.
I'm sorry, Director Young, you're saying that you're asking whether it's a legal requirement to have a separate vote on the resolution?
Well, or wouldn't it be better if we had a separate vote on that one item because it is such an important resolution?
It is, I agree with you, it's an important resolution. It could be voted in a block like this, but certainly it could be voted separately as well.
Okay.
I mean, I would be okay with the motion, but I would respectfully think that it might be best to have that separate, and I do believe that even Director Taylor had indicated that he wanted to maybe vote differently on that one anyways at one time in this meeting.
Okay.
So maybe, Director Young, if you could offer a friendly amendment to exclude that one from the motion?
I would offer a friendly amendment if they would accept.
All right, I'll accept that. Kyle?
Okay, friendly amendment to number,
As well.
Full item number 9.
But now,
All right.
it's 6, 7, and 9 that are pulled, Mr. President.
All right, understood. Okay, Secretary Ashe, call for the vote.
No,
No,
7,
7, 8, and 9. Secretary Ashe, call for the vote.
Director Dr. Michael Taylor,
Yes.
Director Greg Young,
Yes.
Director Dr. Clifford Young,
No.
Vice President Kyle Prather,
Yes.
and President Channing Hawkins.
Yes. Okay, all right, so, item number 7.
Yes, Mr. President, there was, I did want to ask about maybe clarifying number 7 on this item, and I know we just got like a new draft right before the start of this meeting.
Greg?
Yeah, you wanna go
Can I
ahead?
make a suggestion? That we bring this up, and I have some edits on here, if we spend the time on my edits, bring this up in our next meeting.
I mean, I'd be amenable to that, or if you want, or, I mean, whatever the board would like to do, but I do believe if you read number 7, it's kind of it's 2 different points, and it does need to be cleaned up a bit. but-
Okay, well, he has some additional edits that can be added. Okay, great, what say you?
Well, I mean, Cliff, if that's what you would prefer, I mean, it's your committee, so, I mean, I would make a motion that we, I mean, is that what you're asking, that we table it so that you can correct it?
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, well then I'll make that motion so that the committee can kind of clean up the language again on that one.
It's not substantive, but it's language. If we're gonna pass pass this, we should have some clean
Well,
language.
okay, well, discussion
Yeah,
on that.
certainly.
And so I understand Cliff's motion to be about, grammatical and
Yeah, just
items. Now,
nothing substantive.
right, but in regard to the questions you have, they're not just grammar, right?
Well, on this particular one, yes, it is grammar. It is, again, that you have multiple points within one. But I talked to Cliff and he kind of made some notes. So again, it's, you know, he's the chair of the committee, so I'm fine letting him massage it. But I just pointed out that they're just, like I said, if you look at number 7 and read it, it's like 2 completely different points at the same time.
No, I get it, but.
So I just want to clean it up and make it.
Okay, right,
appropriate.
but my point is, so when an item comes back up, and if you don't have a grammar question, understand the discussion may be limited, okay? Because that's what you're saying right now.
Well, I don't have any substantive issue. It's just cleaning up the language is all.
Okay, all right, I just wanted to make sure. All right, there's a motion on the floor, it's been moved and seconded, there's a motion, it's been moved, seconded.
I only have a motion.
No.
I made the
Dr.
motion,
Young.
I think Dr. Young
And
seconded.
Dr. Young seconded.
Okay,
Young and Young.
thank you.
Okay, any discussion? All right, let's call for the
Can you
vote.
repeat the motion, I'm sorry? So they wanna move this to another meeting?
Yes, because, they said there's some, they said that there's some grammatical and typographical errors.
Can I make a friendly amendment?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we vote on whether we wanna keep it or not with with cleaning up some of the grammatical problems? I'm assuming it's like a the, or a they, or a it, or a misspelled word, or something like that, right?
It's a little more than that, Mike. I mean, again, if you read number 7, it's like there's 2 different points because there's really 2 paragraphs under number 7 that needs to be split up, and some of the language needs to, so it's a little more than just a comma or something not in the right place. I mean, it's splitting off 2 different points that right now are under one point, and it doesn't make sense when you read it together.
Let
But
Cliff Let me go to that.
All right, this is their
This is
committee.
getting crazy.
All right, this is their committee. Okay, so did you all accept his friendly amendment? His friendly amendment was
I accept.
to adopt
no, but
adopt it tonight.
his friendly amendment is to adopt it now.
I bring the edits back.
Okay,
All right.
all right, so that's, yeah, he accepted the friendly amendment.
Okay, I'll accept
And
that.
so let's call for the vote.
Okay, Director Dr. Michael Taylor,
Yes.
Director Greg Young,
Yes.
Director Dr. Clifford Young,
Yes, ma'am.
Vice President Kyle Crowther,
Yes.
and President Channing Hawkins.
Yes. Okay, all right. That's approved. Item number 8, is there a motion?
I'll make the motion, Mr. President, that we move item number 8.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved, seconded, discussion?
I have questions for staff on this one.
Okay.
So I have a little more substantive issues on this one. Mr. Faruqi, I'm not sure who wrote this. I mean, were you the one who wrote this policy?
Sorry, no, we took this from a neighboring district as well as from the county of San Diego.
Okay, because particularly on page 82, section 5B, I kind of have some real issues with this section to the point to where it's like, you know, I'm really kind of scratching my head, and I even brought it up to.
What's the specific question?
Yeah, so my question is, what court case are they referring to here? Because they keep saying that, you know, factors the court will consider. Well, I'd like to know what that court case is so that I can review that ahead of time.
Okay.
So do you know a particular court case on this matter?
Mr. Legal Counsel, this was some of the information.
Okay. Mr. General Counsel, do you have a response to Director Young's question?
I'm trying to unmute myself. Okay, yes, thank you very much. I had to unmute myself. Director Young, yes, there are court cases that I could provide to you to talk about that. If it is a private account, then you have no concerns whatsoever. It's only when that account becomes public. But I'd be happy to sit down with you, or even just send you the cases, whatever you like, and you can take a look at them and we can talk about it.
Robert. Well, because part of my concern, and I'll just be specific here, is that while I don't have any issues with other portions of this policy, when I read this particular section, it really kind of made me feel a bit uneasy, because I have two different Facebook groups. I have a private Facebook group for my friends, and then I do have one which is Greg Young, West Valley Water District Director, and I do not allow public comments on that page. And the way I read this particular section, I would now be required to allow comments on that page because it's kind of my public profile. So again, I want a little more clarification on this one, because basically the way I'm reading this, y'all could censor me unless I let just anyone come on and make comments on my page. So am I misreading this?
Yes, wait, hold on. Yes, you're misreading that.
But if you're holding it out as a public page for West Valley Water District, you're not allowed to tell people that you can't comment.
Well, but that's why I really want to clarify.
He merely states his name and that he's a director at West Valley, but it only pertains to him. It is not an official West Valley account. It does not represent the views of West Valley Water District. It is Greg's individual opinion, who happens to be a member of West Valley.
If I could add also, Mr. Board President, in regards to Director Greg Young's question, also it is not, would it be correct to assume that it's not under your district email address?
No.
Okay. All right.
That would be one of the...
Well, but part of my concern, if I may, is the way that the policies are in. Everywhere else it talks about district accounts or district pages, which is very clear, but in here it doesn't delineate that it's talking about a district page, because again, the way that I read this, I could in theory interpret it the way I just put forth to you, because it doesn't specify the difference. Can you kind of see what I'm saying?
If it's a direction of the board, then we can go back and go ahead make that clarification in there.
Well, right, but we can still adopt it tonight, subject to that clarification.
Yeah,
incorporate that.
And I'm okay, but I just, again, the way that it reads now, it reads different than the other sections, and it almost makes it sound like, again, that my second Facebook page could be under this part of the policy, and so that's why I want to clarify that.
I'll work with legal counsel on that, and
on
the general manager.
I do think it should be clarified in that way. I think that's a unique thing that Director Young is presenting, because usually it's either a private page or it's a public page of a West Valley page. But his is sort of a hybrid, which is different. I do think we should have clarification there.
This is not a hybrid. If I said Channing Hawkins, President of the United States, it doesn't become a public page just because I declare I'm the President of the United States.
Well, and under Facebook, it's considered a public figure profile. So, so I have my private and then I have my public figure.
Let me ask you this. Do you have a blue check mark?
I'm sorry?
Okay. No, so it's not really, if you don't have a blue check mark, you're not even authenticated. You can have 3 friends and say I'm a public figure on Facebook.
But yeah,
say, public figure. If I'm on Facebook, I click public figure, and therefore,
I think my concern would be if you're representing a public entity such as West Valley as a director, we're kind of giving up
Okay.
Robert?
I'm representing.
I have a question for you. Robert,
Okay.
could you provide the examples of what we're talking about and put it in the policy so that clarifies the policy
Right.
more?
Yeah, I just don't want to be.
Yes, I can do that, Dr. Young.
Okay, I suggest that we do that.
Yeah.
And we'll be discussing again to.
All right, yeah, yeah, okay, this is
So-
the table.
We'll
Is there
take,
a friendly, yeah, we'll table it? for
yeah,
the next
bring it
meeting?
back, right,
Okay, all right, let's bring it back with that direction on this item.
okay,
So, are they accepting a friendly amendment to table it then?
yeah.
Because they made a motion to pass it.
Who made a motion? They did, okay.
We had a motion and a second.
Let's move it.
No, it's gonna, okay, we're gonna move it subject to, but it's already been muddied, and so let's just, okay, well, if you got the third vote for the moving of it, then we'll go from there. Let's call for the vote.
Can we clarify what it is we're voting on?
That's,
We're voting to approve this item.
Item number
As it,
no, the 8.
as it.
As it, no, well, no, they,
But your vote, I thought you were voting to approve it based on the friendly amendment, which is that we're gonna go back and put examples in there.
yes,
Yes,
Okay, so.
okay, I'll vote for that.
Clarification.
Okay, yes. All right, Secretary Ashe, call for the vote.
Director Dr. Michael Taylor,
Yes.
Director Greg Young,
I'm sorry, so they did accept the friendly amendment, is what you're saying?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, all right, then yes.
Okay.
Director Dr. Clifford Young,
yes, ma'am.
Vice President Kyle Crowther,
Yes.
and President Channing Hawkins.
Yes. Okay, all right, that's item number 8. Item number 9,
Correct.
item number 9.
So
Resolution.
move item number 9.
All right, is there a second?
Second,
All right, item's been moved and seconded with hearing no discussion. Let's call for the vote.
Director Dr. Michael Taylor,
I think I'm gonna abstain on this one.
okay. Director Greg Young,
yes.
Director Dr. Clifford Young,
Yes,
Vice President Kyle Crowther,
Yes.
and President Channing Hawkins.
I'm abstaining. Okay, all right, now it is time for the reports of board members. I just wanted to say one thing about, West Valley Water District, particularly tomorrow, Friday at 10 a.m. We have we were able to secure some PPE, and we have partnered with the Children's Fund of San Bernardino, as well as other local nonprofit organizations and religious organizations to distribute thousands of bottles of hand sanitizer, cloth masks, and face shields tomorrow morning. Those who rely on crucial civil organizations for their day-to-day survival should rest assured that West Valley Water District is doing its part to make sure critical services will be able to continue unimpeded. I would like to take this time to thank our engineering team for drafting up these essential, I'd like to thank our public affairs team for organizing the distribution of the PPE. We want to build the West Valley Water District into a pillar of our community and something that an organization our employees can be proud of. And this fine work, due to our external affairs team, is a tremendous step forward. It's times like these times that water should be the last thing on anyone's mind. And it's our hope that these plans and our community's efforts will give you all one less thing to worry about. Thank you very much, and you're appreciated. I hope to see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Any other board member comments? No? No.
I just briefly, I just want to thank.
I'll donate all my checks to Greg.
I just want to thank Akel, engineering, Linda, and the rest of the engineering and planning committee for all of their hard work on the master plan. I want to thank Vice President Cal Crowther, my other half on the committee. It's been a very long deliberative process, and I do greatly appreciate everybody's hard work.
Great, did you serve on the committee last year?
I'm done, sir. Thank you.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because you've been working on it for 3 years, but you didn't serve on a committee for a year. Okay, we'll see how you get behind schedule when you decide that you don't want to serve, but I'll let that go.
Mr. President,
Anybody else have
that comment
Well,
is just way off.
it's not way off. It's true.
Way off.
It's true, you have a fiduciary responsibility to the ratepayers, and so serving on the committee, and you can't take days off, you can't take time off. Your responsibility is serve on the committee, make sure you come, so we don't lag behind, and our ratepayers have to pay the consequences. Mr. CFO, do you have any comments?
No.
Okay, and, who else? Is that it? That's it? All right, thank you.
We need to report out, Mr. President.
Yes, we need a report out of, closed session.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Oh, wait.
The board considered several items in closed session. There was no final action taken.
You need to announce the 23rd as a special session.
Oh, no. Yes, but we only have to vote. Yeah. Okay, and, yeah, hold on one second. We only have to vote. Tonight, or the day before?
It's the special.
Yeah, the day before. 24 hours, sure, that's the time. Yeah. If we have it that day, that's the problem. If we have it that day. Because I'm not sure if we will. Okay. With that being said, there's a motion to adjourn. Your meeting is adjourned.
Dave, can you, set up a meeting with me and Linda?
Goodbye.
I didn't want to ask you this question in a public meeting, so. What's a good time to get together?
Did you post it?
Yeah.